Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents From Fatigued to Fantastic, 4th edition, by Jacob Teitelbaum, M.D., narrated by Rick Adamson. Publisher's Note: this audiobook includes bonus material. Please visit Tantor.com and type From Fatigued to Fantastic into the search box. Follow the link to the book's page. Then, under the Supplemental Content section, please enter the access code PAIN and then click the Unlock button to access the bonus material. The code should be entered in all lowercase letters. All appendices, forms, sample letters, criteria, and quizzes referenced in this audiobook can be found in the bonus material. Introduction. Start here. BFF Brain Fog Friendly Summary. Whether you simply have day-to-day fatigue, pain, or even if these have cascaded into the worst forms of the human energy crisis called chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, and fibromyalgia syndrome, FMS, this book is for you. Many of you will find that the cognitive dysfunction, which we call brain fog, can make even listening daunting. No worries. We will have the BFF brain fog-friendly summaries through the book. You will get the information you need if you simply skip from summary to summary. For those of you who have mild to moderate day-to-day fatigue, simply listen to Part 1. Is your energy fine, but you have pain? Hear the introduction to Part 1, and then listen to Part 2. Have chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome, CFS or FMS? If you have widespread pain, along with the paradox of inability to sleep despite being exhausted, you have CFS or FMS unless proven otherwise. For you, I recommend listening to the whole book, or at least simply skimming through the BFF summaries. Some of you will want more detail, so I've included lots of information in the chapters but without the heavy technical stuff. We have put together a detailed resources section for those of you who want the latter. You can get everything you need, even if you skip that section. Want to keep it even simpler? If you have day-to-day fatigue, simply do the free quiz at www.tuneupdocs.com. Have CFS or FMS? Do the free quiz at www.energyanalysisprogram.com. Both of these will determine the underlying energy drains and tailor a protocol to optimize energy and overall well-being. I remember 1975. I was in my 3rd year of medical school doing my pediatrics rotation. I had always excelled, having finished college in 3 years. Now I was the 2nd youngest in a class of more than 200 students, and I was continuing to perform well. My approach to life was to move quickly, full speed ahead. But then a nasty viral illness hit me and made it hard for me to even get out of bed for my morning pediatrics lecture. I remember walking into an auditorium full of medical students, the professor saying, "Teitelbaum, why are you—" As he said late, I just about collapsed on the steps. Because I had to drop out of medical school and was too ill to work, I was also homeless and sleeping in parks. I was to meet many teachers on my journey. Most important, I was taking time to get to know myself. It was as if the universe put a holistic, homeless medical school sign on my park bench. Herbalists, energy workers, holistic physicians, naturopaths, and countless others all seemed to wander by. Sometimes they even had pizza with them, and I ate. With what I learned, I was able to recover my energy and strength and went on to finish medical school and my residency. My experiences with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia left me with an appreciation of the impact of these afflictions and drove me to learn how to help others recover. These are the opening words I used for the 1995 first edition of this book, which started out as a pamphlet. All the CFS and FMS research at the time filled less than 20% of the size of this book. Since then, both the research and our understanding of CFS and fibromyalgia has skyrocketed. The 2007 edition became more of a textbook. It was long and complex because I needed to lay the scientific foundation for these conditions. But this made it a challenge for those people reading the book who suffered with brain fog. Now there's so much outstanding information available that my work here is to distill it and make it easy to understand. This is a wonderful thing. Whether you have day-to-day fatigue, pain, or even the incredibly crippling and devastating conditions of CFS and fibromyalgia, it means that we know enough for you to get well now. Experiencing my own pain, treating thousands of people with CFS and FMS, and reading tens of thousands of studies has given me a much different understanding of the human energy crisis than I gained in medical school, which sadly wasn't much. Most medical schools still teach almost nothing about treating fatigue effectively. This is not surprising, as most of our education is done in university hospitals, where we are addressing life-threatening conditions. Why include day-to-day fatigue and pain in a book on CFS and FMS? Even the basic key concept of pain management is still not even on most physicians' radar, that most pain involves an energy crisis in the muscles and nerves. This is why I am including pain in this book. Sadly, and simply put, most physicians are taught almost nothing about pain management. In fact, I can summarize most of it in 39 sad words. Give them acetaminophen, Tylenol, ibuprofen, or epilepsy or depression-related medications. Don't give them narcotics unless the person has cancer. And look for things that are operable or expensive to treat, like compression syndromes, cancer, and autoimmune and disc disease. We were also taught that any other specialties, for example chiropractic or herbalists, who knew anything we didn't were quacks. Basically, this means anybody who knew how to treat pain effectively. So it is no surprise that 1/3 of Americans suffer needlessly with pain, and over 65,000 people die needlessly from pain medications each year. Fortunately, this is slowly changing as physicians are becoming more and more open to research-proven complementary therapies. Meanwhile, most adults wish they had more energy, while 31% suffer with severe ongoing fatigue. The lessons I learned in developing effective treatment for CFS and fibromyalgia also turned out to be powerfully effective for fatigue and day-to-day pain. So this is all included in one book. This book is about the energy crisis caused by modern life. Whether you simply have fatigue or pain from one or two of the dozens of conditions we will discuss, or it has cascaded into full-blown CFS or FMS, this book will give you your life back. Most of you have not been able to fully recover by treating just one piece of the puzzle, because most people have a mix of these processes. That is why we have integrated all the key known components involved in the human energy crisis. This book makes it simple for you to understand each process and determine if you have it, and then teaches you how to treat it, so you can recover now. How to use this book. For those with fatigue without CFS or FMS, Part 1 will show you how to do an energy tune-up so you feel great. Got pain? Part 2 will show you how to get pain-free. I would also suggest scanning through the quick brain fog-friendly BFF summaries in Part 1 to see which areas apply to you. This is important, as these frequently contribute to or are the main causes of your pain. These can include poor sleep, low hormones, infections, and nutritional deficiencies. You can then scan through the rest of the book for things that catch your eye. Got CFS or FMS? Parts 1 and 2 lay the foundations for recovery, so listen to these. But you'll also need the intensive care discussed in Part 3, along with the mind, body, spirit tools in Part 4. Why do we include mind-body issues? You know how when you call computer tech support, the first thing they do is to tell you to reboot? Part 4 will show you how to reset your psyche and brain circuitry. One more thing that will help you get the most out of this book. It's written to be very user-friendly, whether you have brain fog and can't get through a single page, or you are a science geek like me who wants all the details. Here's how. 1. Got brain fog? It's okay to simply listen to the brain fog-friendly BFF summaries as you go through the book. This will make the information short and sweet. The free online quizzes we offer can then analyze your symptoms and even pertinent lab tests to tell you what your underlying problems are. It will then tailor a protocol to optimize your energy. This way, it can be really easy. 2. Want more detail without being technical? Then listen to the BFF summaries and listen to the full chapters that apply to you. 3. More of a science geek? Want more in-depth detail on what is going on with the immune system? Then listen to the more technical areas in the resources section. We have put together 2 free online tools to make it very simple for everybody. These are 15-minute quizzes that can analyze your symptoms and even lab tests if available. If you have day-to-day fatigue, simply do the free quiz at www.tuneupdocs.com. Have CFS or FMS? Do the free quiz at www.energyanalysisprogram.com. Both of these will determine the underlying energy drains and tailor a protocol to optimize energy and overall well-being. I will also give you information on how to optimally navigate your way to picking the best supplements and treatments. When the brand does not matter, I will simply give the name of the herb or nutrient. When the brand does matter, which is often the case, I will specify the supplements by name, as well as any medications or other treatment modalities. So, now that you understand the layout of the book, are you ready to feel great? Then listen on. Part 1. Optimizing Energy with Shine. BFF Summary. 1. The keys for optimizing energy production can be summarized with the acronym SHINE: sleep, hormones, infections, nutrition, exercise as able. 2. In Part 1, we will lay the foundations for optimizing these aspects of your life with one chapter dedicated to each letter of SHINE. If there was an owner's manual for your body, would you read it? Judging by how many of us read our car's owner's manual, the answer is likely no, at least not until a light starts flashing or things stop working. That's when I pull out my car manual. If you have fatigue or pain, these are the red flashing lights on your body's dashboard. Things still work, for now, but something needs attention. In Part 1, we will discuss simple troubleshooting and basic maintenance. For most people, this is enough to not only make your fatigue go away, but also leave you feeling, well, fantastic. Addressing these basics will also lay the foundation for recovering from CFS and FMS. They also will often be surprisingly effective at eliminating pain. For specific types of pain, you may then choose to work your way through Part 2 and begin with those instructions. Don't want to listen to all of Part 1 and would rather just go right to the things that are most important for you? The simple questions here will tell you what sections to refer to. 1. Insomnia, trouble falling or staying asleep? Fall asleep easily during the day? Listen to chapters 1 and 13. 2. Tired, achy, gaining excessive weight, intolerant of cold temperatures, constipated, or having trouble getting pregnant? If you have any two of these, listen to chapters 2 and 14. 3. Do you get hangry or irritable when hungry? Are you anxious? Do you crash with stress? Do you have relationship problems? Listen to the section on adrenal fatigue. 4. Listen to About Reproductive Hormones if you are over 45 years of age and A. If female, do you feel worse around your menses, including irritability, fatigue, headaches, or insomnia, vaginal dryness, hot flashes? B. If male, do you have any two of these, high cholesterol, hypertension, diabetes or prediabetes, a spare tire around your abdomen, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, depression, or decreased motivation? 5. Nasal congestion, sinusitis, or postnasal drip, gas, bloating, diarrhea, and/or constipation? Listen to About Candida in chapters 3 and 15. 6. I recommend that everybody listen to chapters 4 and 17 on nutrition, as this is the foundation of optimal energy and health. In these chapters, we'll also talk about digestive problems. But what about those of you with crippling fatigue and pain? Especially if you have the paradox of insomnia and exhaustion. Most people who are exhausted sleep long and easily, which is the hallmark that tells you that you have CFS or FMS. For you, I recommend listening to this whole book. I understand that brain fog can make this a daunting task, so for each section we have a brain fog-friendly BFF summary. Just how well does the treatment protocol we will be discussing work in the real world? Well, some of you may have seen me on TV with Dr. Mehmet Oz, a remarkable man who challenged me to prove it with regard to my fibromyalgia protocol. He then sent me a woman with disabling fibromyalgia and said, get her well. 1 month later, she was dramatically improved. That's when he invited me to be on his show. It was that woman who looked at my protocol and gave me the acronym SHINE. This stands for Addressing and Optimizing Sleep, Hormones and Hypotension, Infections and Immunity, Nutrition, Exercise as Able. I would note that exercise is a small part of recovery, but important for maintaining conditioning. Remembering this acronym as you go through the book will help tie everything together. Ready for the foundations needed to make your energy level soar? Listen on. The perfect storm for human energy crisis. Wondering why 31% of Americans experience severe fatigue and 2 to 4% deal with CFS or FMS, the worst form of the human energy crisis? Here are just a few reasons. 1. With 18% of our calories coming from added sugar and another 18% from white flour, the modern American diet has lost about 50% of its vitamins and minerals. 2. The average night's sleep in America until 140 years ago, when light bulbs were invented, was 9 hours a night. We are now down to an average of 6 3/4 hours, a 30% pay cut for our bodies. 3. The speed of life has dramatically accelerated. 4. There are over 85,000 new chemicals in the environment, which stress both our immune and hormonal systems. 5. Many medications have fatigue as a side effect. Chapter 1. Sleep. Recharge your batteries. BFF Summary. 1. One of the most effective ways to improve energy, mental clarity, and immune function while decreasing pain and weight gain is simply to get your 8 hours of sleep a night. 2. Begin by making time for sleep. Do this by cutting out things that don't feel good. 3. create a restful bedtime routine. 4. If your mind is wide awake and racing at bedtime, consider phosphatidylserine, a natural phospholipid 100 to 200 milligrams, or an herbal mix called Sleep Tonight, taken an hour before bedtime. 5. Wake frequently in the middle of the night. This suggests low blood sugar. Have a high-protein snack, 1 to 2 ounces, before bedtime. A hard-boiled egg works well. 6. Take a mix of 6 herbs called the Revitalizing Sleep Formula. You can also add a mix of 4 essential oils called Terrific Z's, ZZZZ. If using melatonin, use the dual-spectrum melatonin 5 milligrams by Nature's Bounty. All 3 of these can be used together. 7. Anyone who has high blood pressure, snores, falls asleep easily during the day, especially while driving, has a shirt collar size of 17 inches or larger, or is overweight, should consider getting tested for sleep apnea. 8. If you tend to scatter your sheets and blankets, and especially if you tend to kick your bed partner, or if you note that your legs tend to feel jumpy and uncomfortable at rest at night, you may have restless leg syndrome, RLS. 9. Most people with CFS or FMS will need to add medications as well. These are discussed in Chapter 13, Sleep-Intensive Care. One of the most effective ways to improve energy and mental clarity is to simply get your 8 hours of sleep a night. But is it really that simple? Like so many other things in life, the answer is yes and no. Let's put things into perspective. Until 140 years ago, when light bulbs were invented, the average night's sleep in the United States was 9 hours a night. Average. That means as many people got 10 hours a night as 8. Going back further in time, to most of human history, anthropologists tell us that the average night's sleep was 11 hours. Most nights when the sun went down, it was too dark, boring, and dangerous to be outside, so people went to sleep. Then they woke up with the sunrise, an average of 11 hours later. Now we are down to an average of about 6 3/4 hours of sleep a night, complements of light bulbs, radio, TV, the internet, social media, and so on. This means the average person has lost 30% of their sleep in the last century. In addition to simply not having time to get your 8 hours of sleep a night, you may also find that the stress of modern life is causing insomnia. In this chapter, I will teach you how to treat day-to-day insomnia with natural therapies and sleep hygiene. In Chapter 13, Sleep-Intensive Care, we will discuss sleep medications for those with CFS and FMS. Why is sleep so important? Beyond giving us energy, sleep has a number of critical functions. For example, sleep is when tissue repair occurs, which is why poor sleep causes pain. Is also critical for proper growth hormone production. Growth hormone has also been called the fountain of youth hormone and is associated with looking young as well as increasing muscle and decreasing fat. Has been shown to be critical for immune function. Is important for weight regulation because appetite-suppressing hormones such as leptin are produced during sleep. Studies have shown that poor sleep was associated with an average 6-pound weight gain. In a study of 68,183 women, followed over 16 years, those sleeping 5 or fewer hours per night had a 32% increased risk of gaining 33 pounds relative to those who slept 7 hours per night. So, it pays to make time for your 8 hours of shut-eye. Not only will you have more energy and less pain, but you'll lose weight and look younger as well. Finding time for sleep. With life going haywire, you may wonder where to even find that extra 2 hours to get the shut-eye you need. Here are some thoughts to make it easier. Step 1. you'll never get it all done. Realize that you will never get it all done, no matter how fast you run. In fact, you may have noticed that the faster you run and more efficiently you do things, the more life puts on your plate. Here's a secret. If you slow down and take the time to sleep, you'll find that fewer things find their way to your to-do list, and a lot of things and problems seem to simply drift away, mostly things that you didn't really want to do anyway. Then you'll find getting your 8 hours of sleep a night will make you more efficient and effective, and you'll be enjoying the things you do more. Step 2. Keep what feels good and ditch the rest. Make a list of most of the things you spend time doing in life, both at home and at work. Put these in 2 columns. Column 1 contains the things that feel good to do, or at least feel better to do than not to do. In column 2, put those things you think you should do, but that feel awful. These include things like committee meetings, school meetings, and other things that you don't really like but think you should do. This has been called shoulding on yourself, thinking, I should do this, I should do that. Here's your chance to stop that. I am giving you doctor's orders to cut out the things in your life that don't feel good and won't leave you fired or arrested if you cut them loose. So tell the chairwoman of the Committee of 1,000 Ways to Waste Everybody's Time that you would love to help, but the doctor said absolutely no more commitments. Column 2 can also include things like watching the news. If you enjoy it, watch it. But when it starts making you feel bad, turn it off. Once you start making these lists, you will find it is fun to take more and more things and put them in column 2. Then start tendering your resignations. I am not talking about to the job that pays your bills yet. When I first realized this, I resigned from almost 10 committees within a week, and I have never missed them for a second. Happily, I have avoided committees that I don't enjoy ever since then. It's been great, and has freed up the time needed for me to get my 8 hours of sleep a night. So, now that you've learned how to make the time for your sleep, here's how to handle insomnia and poor sleep quality. The basics. Good sleep hygiene. The following are some things to consider. Limit alcohol to 1 or 2 drinks before bedtime. Do not consume caffeine after 4 p.m. Do not use your bed for problem-solving or doing work. If you are in the habit of using your bed for doing work, it is best to change your work area to another part of the house. If it helps you to fall asleep, you can watch relaxing television, perhaps on a timer that turns the television off if you fall asleep while watching, or reading a relaxing book in bed until you can no longer stay awake. Take a hot bath before bed if it's cold outside. Adding 2 cups of Epsom salts, magnesium, can result in powerful muscle relaxation and pain relief as well. Keep your room cool. If your mind races because your brain thinks it is daytime when it is nighttime, continually focus your thoughts on things that feel good and do not require much thinking energy. If you find that you cannot help but continue to problem solve, get out of bed and write down all your problems on a piece of paper until you can't think of any more. Then set them aside and go back to bed. Do this as often as you need to. It may be helpful to schedule 30 minutes of worry time early in the afternoon or evening when you can update a checklist of your concerns. In addition, the herbal mix Sleep Tonight by Enzymatic Therapy can be very helpful in this situation. If your partner snores, get a good pair of earplugs or noise-canceling headphones and use them. The wax plugs that mold to the shape of the ear are often the best ones. It may be useful to have either a sound generator that makes nature sounds, or better yet, a tape that induces the deep sleep REM stage. Spouses of people with sleep apnea or snoring often also have severely disturbed sleep. You may need to sleep in a separate bedroom after tucking in or being tucked in by your partner until you find a way to sleep soundly through the snoring. If you frequently wake up to urinate during the night, do not drink a lot of fluids near bedtime. Also, gravity can cause water to pool in your legs during the day. This water redistributes when we're lying down, and it's like drinking.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?